So I think in the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about fake alcohol or counterfeit alcohol. And we know that this all started, particularly during COVID, with cigarettes, because it was a big issue. Apparently, it's getting worse, because now we are told that more than 3/4 of shops in our country are selling illicit cigarettes, some as low as 5 rands for a 20 pack. Believe it or not, 5 rands. And there was an independent research that looked into this, which shows that 76.7%, nearly triple the 27.4% in 22, is now selling cigarettes below the minimum tax threshold, 76.7%. In 2022, we were sitting at 27.4%. The study, which was released, showing basically where 4,812 retail outlets were surveyed, shows that the cheapest cigarettes are available at each location. 69% of retailers are selling cigarettes below 20 rands per pack. So as I said, 76.7% selling below 26 rands minimum threshold. Products as cheap as 5 rands per pack were found in some outlets. Further shows that the illicit tobacco trade is a homegrown problem, as locally manufactured brands dominate the markets for products selling below the MCT, minimum collectible tax. Johnny Muloto is Area Head of Corporate and Regulatory Affairs for British American Tobacco, Sub-Saharan Africa, joining us on the line. Johnny, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, TK, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, you guys have big problems, eh? This is a big problem. Or is it not, Johnny? Let me not jump the gun here.
It is a crisis. Over the years, this is the 7th wave of such research studies that we've commissioned to do a price check in the market, how the market is performing. And year in, year out, when we thought it couldn't get any worse, it's gotten even worse, it's reached crisis point. Every year we say this, that we hope that it falls on ears that will listen and at least be responsive to this, but it doesn't seem to be the case, We raise this issue to keep this top of mind of the authorities, but what you are seeing, bad behavior spreads easily. As you correctly mentioned, alcohol is now following, and you see it in other sectors as well. So the illicit economy is alive and thriving in South Africa.
Who's at the top of the food chain? Who runs this big enterprise?
Yeah. So if you look at the results of the study that came for all the successive years, as I say, this is the 7th wave of such research. You see that the top 4 culprits remain consistent. You have your gold leaf tobacco, you have best tobacco, you have Cannelings, you have Afrobec, then you have other smaller players. But, consistently you can see throughout the waves that these are the same players. Ironically, gold leaf tobacco in 2022 was put under curatorship by the South African Revenue Services, and but they still operate and seem to be thriving and doing quite well in spite of the spotlight that has been shown over these companies over the years.
I'm sure as a company you've gone to government, to be specific, and said, guys, this is our bread and butter. We are paying tax. These are the people that are selling these counterfeit products. They're not paying tax. Here's the information at our disposal that you can use to try and stop this problem. If there was such a discussion, please tell us more.
Yes. So over the years, there have been, the discussions, to be quite honest with you, direct discussions have been few and far in between because of the lack of access into government, right? So we've used whatever platforms that are available, whether it's public hearings, where we have made our submissions at Parliament, where we have submitted papers to National Treasury. And this study is probably the biggest opportunity we have, where we say, here's actionable information. If you don't trust us, here's the data. Go verify it for yourselves. And we've always opened ourselves. We were the first company to go to say that we are open to you having CCTV cameras in our factories and monitor production. We have nothing to hide. But we saw the other players running to the courts and saying, oh, no, this is an invasion of privacy. I'm not sure what privacy is there in manufacturing cigarettes. But in any case, we've seen them do that, ducking and diving. And this is open knowledge. It's out there in the public. Even the commissioner himself said, what do they have to hide if, they are compliant with the law? So we have we've been monitoring the growth of illicit trade since 2014. There was a bit of a break in 2018, 2019. For about 3 months, we saw an improvement in the market and tax collections went a bit up. But that was because the Revenue Authority put customs officers in factories, which is one of the solutions we are saying, guys, you've done it before, you can do it again. And the upside to that, they collected close to R1 billion. We're saying here's an opportunity, and that was just for 3 months. We say if you put them, then what about if you put them in for 12 months in these factories? You have 28 billion rands lying on the table, and yet we nearly had a VAT increase earlier this year. But there's money lying on the table, but we continue to squeeze out the ordinary South African to pay more when the criminals, are laughing all the way to the bank.
So how is this affecting you? Are you shutting down your operations? Are you scaling down? Are you retrenching? Give us a sense of what keeps you awake at night with regards to this particular situation specifically as a company.
TK, it's been a very painful journey. I mean, from 2019, like I said to you, we saw a bit of, I would say, maybe light at the end of the tunnel. Then catastrophe struck in 2020 with COVID, and we had a sales ban. We lost 40% of our business. We never recovered from that. Our volumes declined, and since then, year in, year out, we've been, restructuring, trying to optimize our operations to be able to, to reduce our cost base. But once you do that, where the biggest cost base lies, right? It's people. So this has impacted livelihoods, and not just livelihoods from ourselves as a manufacturer, but across the value chain, from your tobacco growers to the processors, ourselves as manufacturers. And it keeps on growing, and all of these people dependent on this legal value chain have all been impacted, and they all have had to optimize their operations. I'll give you an example. For every tobacco or job we create in our industry, you have a multiplier effect of 92 of other jobs that you create across the value chain. So for every one job you lose, it goes to say that, you are impacting quite a lot of livelihoods, not just jobs, but dependents as well, that are no longer able to put food on the table. So it's a massive impact,
Yep. So some people who are listening to our conversation right now are saying, but guys, where these cigarettes are in terms of the shelves. They are spread all over these spaza shops.
Yeah, but for us, TK, the problem is not necessarily, this is just the byproduct of that. This is the symptom of what you are seeing in the market. You will not be able, to be chasing guys selling at tabletops and spazas. You need to go at source, because in South Africa we have what we call a duty at source tax regime. That tax for cigarettes is paid at source. The manufacturer, before cigarettes are released in the market for home consumption, tax should have been paid, and the current tax rate is 26.22. I heard you in your opening remarks, you spoke about tax available as cheap as R5. How could it be if you would have paid your 26.22 per tag?
Yeah.
It means it has not been paid. And these players, remember, all of us are known to SARS. All of us have licenses to operate. So if your products are found being very prevalent in the market at those severely underpriced points, that simply means there's something wrong with your declarations. So that the investigation should go there. It's the only way that you can tackle this problem.
So if it were up to you, what would you implement as a show of force against all of this?
So there are three easy low-hanging solutions that are well within reach by the authorities. Number one, we are saying to the revenue authorities, put customs officers back in the manufacturing facilities so that they can monitor production. Serves as a good deterrent. We've seen it work in the past. That's number one. But add another layer to it so that, you avoid corruption and, temptation for people to be bribed. Put body cameras on them so that you can monitor this in real time. Number two, we say, the revenue authorities issues license. By extension, they can cancel licenses. If a player like they had fined with Gold Leaf in 2022, that license should have been cancelled because they clearly have breached the license requirements. Instead, it appears that they would have paid a fine, but they paid the revenue authorities with their own money. So they steal from you and pay you with your own money for the penalty. It's ridiculous. And then the third one, we say, because of the issue, the main issue here is around pricing. Put a floor price at what we call a minimum retail price, where you say any product that sells below this price should not and could not have been legally produced or legally sold, and it should be seized and the perpetrators arrested. And this is not just our take. Even the University of Cape Town, by the way, who are very anti-tobacco, have a similar approach to say that this is what the government should put in place, a minimum retail price where any product is found in the market selling below that price. We believe that will make enforcement very easy because it will not just be dependent on SARS alone because they don't have all the capacity to do this. But then the police will be empowered to easily, effect arrests and then you can also have prosecutions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just before you go, Chaka wants to interact. Chaka, go for it.
Thanks, Titi. And if I may just ask, my focus will be on the research itself.
Yes.
Does the research indicate how much are we losing in terms of tax per annum? The value of money that we are losing per annum for tax, precisely because of the increase of VAT. Maybe this money could have been, we can be getting it from this tobacco.
I get you.
Thank you.
What's your response there, Johnny?
Chaka, thank you very much for that question. It's a very good question because we estimate the illicit economy to be around 27.5 billion sticks. And if you do a one-to-one parity, we are losing around 28 billion. So the fiscus is losing around 28 billion rands a year, which translates into about 100 million every working day. So you can make your computation that what can that money do for service delivery in the country.
Got you. Let's leave it at that. Johnny Muloto from British American Tobacco, we will appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.